I, M38. Feel like I'm having to choose between my daughters and my wife, their stepmom. I just recently remarried and it's causing some issues with my daughters, 15 and 12. They've been convincing their mom that my wife is an awful person and making up stories for months now. Every time I take them back to their moms, they come up with something new. Some of the stories they've come up with include saying that my wife lets them starve, steals their clothes, yells at them and hits them, destroys and/or hides their stuff. The list goes on and on. None of this has ever happened. In fact, they are absolutely rude and awful to my wife to the point where they have made her cry many times. When they're at my house, I can tell my wife avoids them because of the things they say to her. Yet their mom believes every word they say, and she just now told me she wants sole custody. I don't know if I want to fight this and be able to have my daughters and be there for them, or just let it happen so they can stop making stories about my wife and causing us so much stress. I feel like I can either be a good dad or a good husband, but not both. Any advice? Ask them. Straight up, ask them. The question needs to be asked. Do they want to stay and change and give the family a chance and go to family therapy, or do they want to live with their mom full time? Make sure you tell them why this is going on and ask them what they want to happen. It's common for kids not to adjust to changes. They direct their anger towards the stepmom and such. What is not common is how can they lie and made up all this stuff and get away with it. If your new wife is really not doing any of these things, and you are absolutely sure of it, then you and your ex-wife need to team up and deal with this behavior ASAP. Your children are learning they can lie, manipulate and hurt others without consequences. Have you considered putting them in therapy? Do your daughters realize this is heading towards their mom getting sole custody? Is that what they want? If they just want to be with their mom full-time, it may be the best thing for everyone. Why do they hate her? What was their relationship before the wedding? Was she fully integrated into the family? Did you take the relationship slow enough to give your girls time to adjust? It's difficult to believe everything was great with them before the wedding and the girls loved her and suddenly went sour after. Are you sure you did your due diligence to ensure a healthy relationship between them? Ask them if they want to be with their mom full-time. You can still have occasional visits with them, just you and the girls. That will give them the father figure time they need. But this behavior shouldn't be tolerated in your home. It teaches them that manipulations and lies are how to get attention. Sometimes letting go or putting your foot down is the highest form of love. It's time for a serious discussion with your daughters. Maybe you should play devil's advocate and suggest that if these things are happening, that you'd like to put cameras inside of the house as proof. See if their reaction warrants it. Coming from a house where all those things were actually happening and my stepmom was doing them, I would have been thrilled to have some backup. But if I was lying, I'd be devastated at the option. Your children are acting out. It should be of grave concern. They've identified your wife as a threat. I wouldn't accept anything from them other than a full explanation. And separate them from her until you've resolved the issue. I'm guessing from this that your relationship with your daughters is strained from how this reads. You have to re-establish their trust in you. Update: friend's wife possibly flirting with my husband. Original post. I hope I did that right, lol. Thank you all for your comments and advice. The first thing I want to say is that we have decided to take a step back from this friendship. My husband means the world to me and I would not want him to be in any situation where he is uncomfortable. I love that he trusted me enough to tell me about this. I have a very big temper and I'm jealous, so when he told me, he was worried I was going to lose it, lol. The fact that he told me, already let me know that he loves me and wouldn't do anything that would hurt me. We will limit the time that we spend with them to the plans that are already in place, and that's it. No drinking around them, and my husband will keep a healthy physical distance from her. We are not going to tell her husband anything. He has invested a lot into their relationship and something tells me that he wouldn't believe us. All of these things happened in front of him. If we all picked up the vibe, he must have too. However, if he asks us point blank why we don't hang out anymore, I am not going to lie. Some people said that maybe that's how she is. We all come from a culture where touching is part of how we communicate. But if it doesn't feel right or normal, it's not. I wanted to observe her behavior more prior to my husband bringing this to my attention. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't all in my head or my jealousy, insecurities. Now that I know that my husband feels uncomfortable and it wasn't in my head, we for sure can't be friends anymore. Distance is the best way to go. Better to avoid a fight and drama between all of us. Just go our separate ways. Thank you all for all of the advice. Edit. When I said that I have a temper, I don't mean that I have anger issue or that I abuse my husband. Some of you are a little too sensitive. I am Latina. My husband is also Latino. We both have strong personalities and neither of us is a pushover. He understandably thought that if he told me I was going to get mad, not at him, at her, and show up at her house and pop off on her for the blatant disrespect. In my marriage we do not disrespect each other. He is not scared of me and he is not abused. He only claims he is abused when I eat all the cookies or stick my cold feet on his back at night, but that's about it. My wife the other day came up to me and said, 3.5, and I was WTH as 3.5? 3.5 drinks before one of the soccer moms starts hitting on me. After months of me telling her I don't like drinking around this one mom. I know her husband sees it, and I love that guy. I don't want to have him feel whatever he is feeling, so I limit my drinking around her so as to limit the friendliness that comes with drinking. She finally saw it. I respect your decision to limit your exposure to this one wife. I respect more your ability to speak about it like adults without it letting it affect your relationship. Congrats. I think you did the right thing. She crossed your boundaries but maybe not her own marriage, so there's no point in telling her husband if he doesn't see anything wrong with what she did. However, I have a very big temper and I'm jealous, so when he told me, he was worried I was going to lose it. Lol. If your temper is so bad that your husband is afraid to even talk to you when he's being harassed, you need to figure out a way to find balance. It's normal to be jealous, but not when it causes miscommunication. Has anyone, i.e. particularly your husband, talked to friend's wife directly that her behavior makes your husband uncomfortable and told her to knock it off? We will limit the time that we spend with them to the plans that are already in place, and that's it. You should reconsider honoring even these pre-existing engagements. You're not obligated to spend time with someone who's been touching your husband without his consent. We are not going to tell her husband anything. What do you mean? You said all this is happening right in front of her husband. Yeah, you should part ways with both of them. The man seems to know what his wife is doing, and it is disrespectful to your marriage. She's not just openly flirting with your husband. He's likely just one guy in a long line of men she flirts with. Yes, get away from both of them. This is a toxic association. Nothing good will come of this and you're going to hear about it. This happened to me. I kept getting flirty messages from my partner's sister's husband. We go out with them often. I showed my partner the messages and said this was making me really uncomfortable. He wanted to say something to his brother-in-law, but I told him I was going to do it. Wasn't his place. I felt to confront him, it was mine. Which I did by text. We are out with them this weekend again, so I will be seeing them both face to face. I don't feel the need to tell his wife, as I have hopefully stopped him in his tracks. However, if it happens again, first person I will tell is his wife. Want stand for people who breach friends' trust and disrespect their partners. I cut off the girl that crossed boundaries, was overly friendly with my BF. I confronted both of them, although my boyfriend said he just didn't want to be rude, but when I told my friend, she said, we were just having a connection, and didn't see anything wrong with her actions, so I decided to cut her off completely and I haven't looked back since. Oh, the horror. Someone call the police for this man. She puts her cold feet on him at night and eats the cookies. This is a travesty. This type of abuse is not acceptable. Tears of joy. Wife lied about meeting up with a guy from the past. What should I do? Edit. I have decided to go to therapy with the wife and see what a professional has to say about this. I am a mess of emotions right now. I will need to work on myself more because of some low self-esteem issues that were identified in this thread. For all commenters, even harsh ones, thank you for the replies and your time. She wanted a chance to confront him and end all contact bullshit. You're getting the old trickle truth. Relationships are built on trust. She fought me for an hour in order to get permission to see him, but I still said no. That's just a massive red flag to me. I think she's feeding you tiny bits of info because some shit's about to come out. Personally, I wouldn't believe her, so she lied about banging him, lied about meeting him. But met him when his friends were there, allegedly, and only met to confront him. Absolute bollocks. She met him and got rammed. If this were me, it would be a deal breaker. She might be telling the complete truth, but I'd never know. I'd always then have that doubt of if she's meeting or met others behind my back. This wouldn't be getting paranoid either, it would be valid as she's done it before. The trust would be gone in a flash. After finding out she was seeing me, he slid into her DMs and she wanted a chance to confront him and end all contact. She wanted to end all contact? Block him. Problem solved. People don't meet up with people they no longer have any interest in. She's lying. It seems she lies a lot when it comes to this guy. She cheated. Dump her before children are involved. People who cheat once usually cheat again. People who lie and get away with it, will lie again. People who cheat and lie and are forgiven do it again because they think they got away with it and will get away with it again through forgiveness. Or they think they will do a better job and not get caught this time around. Good luck. Annul that marriage and save yourself. When do I tell my ex about new girlfriend? About 1.5 months ago I split up with my girlfriend at the time for being controlling and manipulating. We had been together for 4 years, and we owned an apartment and a car together. We're in the process of selling the apartment, which will most likely be sold in about a month. After it's sold there's a period of 2-3 months before the new owners move in. My ex and I agreed that I should be the one living in the apartment until the sale and moving out. The thing is, I started seeing a new girl a couple weeks after splitting up. I realized this is very quickly, and my ex would definitely think I had been seeing her while we were together. When should I tell her? If I tell her when the apartment is sold, I don't think she'll let me stay at the apartment until I move out. She would do everything in her power to make my life hell if she found out. But if I wait until I've moved out, I'm risking that she'll find out through friends or seeing us together. Why would you tell your ex you're seeing someone new? Why would you still be talking to a controlling, manipulating ex? Answer questions about the apartment sale, that's it. She doesn't need to know. Part of your problem was her controlling behavior. Make sure she knows it's none of her business what you do. I understand the time you've spent together and I believe you probably have some feelings left, but you're free of the drama. You guys broke up, she doesn't have to know anything no more. Let her think whatever she wants, that's her problem. I don't know why you would mention it to her, she's your ex. You've also said here that she was manipulative and controlling, so telling her this would be inviting drama into your life and the life of your new love interest. Save yourself the trouble and keep it under wraps. Honestly, when people do this it feels like they just are doing it out of spite, like you don't have to tell her anything. You both mutually broke up and it's done and in the past. You and your new girlfriend aren't even that serious yet. Never, she is your ex. The relationship is over. Your affairs are the stuff you own together and that is it. What she thinks or feels is no longer your issue. You both should have firm boundaries. I would just take it slow with new person and bring her to the apt until things are settled. Don't tell her. You don't need really tell her about the new girl you are dating. But, if she asks something you need to be honest. After all, you didn't cheat her. But is really quick you about the new girl. I recommend you to take a time for yourself. At least, take a time for you until you settle things down.